Titling in Britain is a complex but interesting field. Not long ago, King Charles III complied with the request of his parents, Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, who wanted the title of father to go to Prince Edward. But when this happened, it turned out that the title had undergone some changes, and could no longer be passed from father to son. So Edward's son James could only use the title Earl of Wessex all his life, but could not become Duke of Edinburgh. And what happens to the title of Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, if Prince Edward passes away before she does? The patent letters creating the new title of Duke of Edinburgh have not yet been made public, the first time a member of the royal family has been granted a peerage that cannot be inherited. Of course, there have been many cases in the past in which a person without children has been conferred the title of peerage with a residue of succession, but without sons, which means that it will not be inherited, and several cases, Duke of Fife, Earl of Mountbatten, in which a special residue has been indicated in letters so that the title can be inherited by first-generation daughters and then by the male line. Lifetime peerages, i.e., peerages that cannot be inherited, of course, are not at all new. In the 17th and 18th centuries lifetime peers were regularly created. And in the late 19th century, judges of the courts of appeals received the title of peer for life, the so-called Lords of Law, with a seat in the House of Lords. In 1958 came the Life Peerage Act, under which, at the request of the Prime Minister, non-hereditary peers could be created, always in the low rank of baron and mainly used to fill the House of Lords by prominent personalities and politically oriented legislators. The Duchy of Edinburgh, however, is the first in modern times a title above that of baron, which is for life and to which children cannot claim. Prince Edward's titles. Prince Edward has 4 titles, from highest to lowest. Duke of Edinburgh, created in 2023. Earl of Wessex, created in 1999 at the time of Edward's marriage. Viscount Severn, created in 1999 as an auxiliary title for the Earl of Wessex. Earl of Forfar, created in 2019 to give Edward the Scottish title for use in Scotland. Apart from the duchy, all titles are inherited in the usual way, i.e. James will, when Edward is gone, carry the titles of Earl of Wessex and Forfar, Viscount Severn. He will probably be called James of Mountbatten Windsor, Earl of Wessex. It is interesting and unusual that James will henceforth be called by courtesy title as Earl of Wessex, but will not become Earl of Wessex until after his father's death. It is a title he will be able to pass on to his children. What titles will Sophie wear if she becomes a widow? As the wife of the Duke of Edinburgh, Sophie has a life estate in the style, rank and title of her husband. This means that she is entitled to be called Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Edinburgh and has the same rank in the order of seniority of the United Kingdom as her husband. The norm for titles that are hereditary. If there is no heir with a wife to become the next Duchess of Edinburgh, the widow continues to be called the Duchess of Edinburgh. If there is an heir with a wife, do one of the following. The widow is called Dowager Duchess of Edinburgh without the name, or the title necessarily introduces the name Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, to differentiate between the new Duchess and the widow. However, since the title will return to the crown after Edward's death, the situation may be somewhat different. It is reasonable to assume that the duchy will not be immediately transferred to another member of the family, meaning that no new Duchess of Edinburgh will appear, which means that it is very likely that Sophie will be able to remain with her title for life. Otherwise, it would be strange to carry the title of widow and not be related to the new mistress of the title. In any case, no new title will be invented for Sophie, because she has no title of her own, only her husband's. Why does it matter to the monarchy that Edward only received the dukedom for life? Buckingham Palace has not specified the reasons or details of this decision, but we can make some reasonable assumptions. That the new sovereign seeks to make the granting of peerage titles conform to 21st century thinking in the United Kingdom, that is, that the succession of titles is no longer considered fair, democratic, significant, or necessary. That the king had other plans for the title in the future. There has been speculation in the press that the Duchy of Edinburgh will be given to Princess Charlotte or to Prince Louis. It is most reasonable to understand lifetime titles as the emergence of a new practice that denies hereditary titles among members of the royal family, and this is nothing new. Princess Anne and her first husband Mark Phillips are known to have rejected the title of peerage for Mark on the grounds that they did not want their children to inherit titles. The Earl and Countess of Wessex decided not to title their children and not to call them Royal Highnesses or Prince and Princess, which is available to them by birthright. In addition, Prince Edward's dukedom for life may be a precedent to prohibit Prince Harry from passing on his ducal title to Archie, who currently lives in the United States.